Welcome to the Green Talk. I'm your host, Misraim Mata, and today we are diving into the extraordinary story and journey of Joel Northrup, COO of Deep Lawn. Joel, welcome to the Green Talk, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Mizriam, thank you for having me.
Man, thank you for joining the show today. What a journey you have, man, in the industry from starting a landscape business with your brother when you were in high school, all the way to launching a tech-based company. So, do you mind sharing with us how everything started for you in a young age?
Absolutely. So it goes all the way back to when I was in high school. I think it was actually when I was maybe 13 years old. My brother and I wanted to start making money on the side, saving up money for summers and during the summer. So we started push mowing neighbors' properties. So we would push our mowers over and we would mow our neighbors' lawns. And, I couldn't drive at the time. So my mom would actually help us. She would drive us to properties, and mow the property. So she helped. My mom is an amazing person, amazing woman. She helped us start our business essentially. So, for a few years, yeah, we would mow neighbors' properties. And then I was able to drive. At 16, I got my license. And we decided to kind of turn it into more of a real business. We became an LLC, and I was actually not 18 yet, so I wasn't able to have any ownership of the company. So it was under my mom's name. So we just started mowing. We would pass out flyers. We started doing advertisements in the paper back when the paper was a good way to advertise, and kind of just built the company from there. At first, we were doing all mowing and some small landscaping projects. And then we actually got approached by, over the course of probably 3 years, we ended up acquiring two companies in our area. So both of them were primarily mowing companies. We acquired their customer base, kind of rolled their brand into ours, acquired their equipment. Nothing too massive, but these companies probably did a couple 100,000 in revenue and started to build a real business. What was previously just like my brother and I, we started to hire some folks. Eventually, we got somebody answering phones, helping us in the office. I learned the hard way how to hire and who not to hire and bad hiring, what that looks like. Over the course of 2010, 2009, I've probably hired over 150 to 200 people. So as you can imagine, when you're young, you learn the hard way what not to do and traits to look for, qualities in people. So we definitely had our ups and downs, and we started to transition into hardscaping. And I think this was in 2015. We started to do projects that were, say, $50,000, $100,000. We partnered with a few pool companies, and we did a bunch of work, with in-ground pools and hardscapes and outdoor kitchens and outdoor fireplaces. And it was fun to do that, to be able to see what your finished product is. But we ran into some hurdles with that. With those large projects, they're not as reoccurring. They're not as consistent. They're not predictable. Also, weather can have a huge role, and it can really affect the business. So, and delay projects. If you're renting, excavators and skid steers, you have them on site, and rain delays your project for 3 weeks during the spring. That can cause a huge detriment to the business. We started playing around. I started really getting good at numbers. I think 2015, 2016, I started really crunching numbers a lot better. Started to really get the numbers in my business in order and figure out what was profitable, what was not. And we started realizing that mowing was profitable, but the margins were very, very slim. Landscaping could be very profitable at times, and at times it was very unprofitable. It depended on the weather, depended on a lot of factors. Were our suppliers able to get the products in time? Some of those delays would really affect our bottom line. So we made the big decision to kind of really simplify the company and focus on lawn fertilization and weed control. And I think this was, 2016, I believe. Might have been at the end of 2015. So we kind of sold off our mowing routes, our mowing division. We sold those off. We got rid of the landscaping. We quit doing the hardscaping projects. We kind of minimized it to just some softscaping, like mulch projects, small edging projects, stuff like that. and we really went all in on lawn fertilization and weed control. So there was a huge pivot for us. And we started to grow that business, and we really got ahead with the website. It was at that point I started to really realize that, hey, in order to run a good service business, we need a website. We need a digital presence. This is our digital banner. This is our digital salesperson. And I would spend, you probably did the same. I would spend a lot of time on lawn care forums online. Lawn site, when that used to be where everyone would congregate. Now it's kind of Facebook groups. But back in the day, lawn site was where it was at. Everyone would post. So I would ping folks in the industry that, ran successful businesses. What I love about our industry is people are always, happy to help, especially young people. And I'm in college or finishing high school and asking questions, and people went out of their way to help me. And I try to do the same now, even though I'm still young. I love helping younger folks in the business and when they're growing their business and helping out. So we went all in on online advertising, lawn fertilization, weed control. We built that business. We also played around, also started another company called Lawn Robotics. And we were one of the first to use robotic mowers in Eastern Iowa. We can talk about that later. That was an interesting story. But yeah, we built our lawn care business. We scaled it. We scaled it up to, we had a team of 10. And then in 2019, sold that business. I had graduated from the University of Iowa with a tech degree, and I had some offers to move down to Austin. So I decided to move down to Austin, Texas, and we decided to sell that business. My brother and I were ready to sell, and we had an offer. So, fast forward a year, I started working on what is now Deep Lawn. So Deep Lawn really, while we ran our lawn care business, there were a few things that we really wanted to solve. We were always looking at ways to be more efficient, to use technology to help our business. If you can save 15 minutes a day per crew or per technician in lawn care, that adds to a tremendous amount of profit at the end of the year. That makes you more productive. That makes the business just better. One of the things that we wanted to solve, that my brother and I had written down back in probably 2016, was how can we make it super easy for homeowners to sign up for our services? I always felt that somebody going online, filling out a form, or calling our company, writing down their info, 2 days later, a salesperson driving to that property with a measuring wheel, that was very inefficient, and it just was not the way of the future. And over time, homeowners have been used to Amazon. Uber now can bring you food in hours, in an hour or less. You can drive anywhere with a click of a button. So consumer, habits have changed tremendously. And we realized that lawn care, lawn maintenance, pest control companies really needed a way to sell easier to homeowners. We built, I have a background in machine learning and computer vision, and we developed over the course of 2.5 years proprietary AI models that can automatically measure all of the turf on a property. And with that, we released in 2021, we launched Deep Lawn, and really changed the game for lawn care and lawn maintenance companies, pest control companies as well. But with our e-commerce tool on homeowners web or lawn care companies' websites, pest control companies, homeowners can go on, they can search their address, they can instantly get a price based on the real-time AI data, and they can sign up for services. So what previously was, a couple hour to multiple day process to get pricing in the hand of the customer, um, can be done in 60 seconds. Anyway, we can talk more about the company, but I've been running Deep Lawn full time since 2021. We're now 2025. We've definitely done a lot of innovation, but it's been amazing to help to build tools, continue to innovate and build tools for lawn care, landscaping, lawn maintenance, pest control companies to really make their lives easier, make them more efficient, give them more time to really focus on the customer and their product, making the grass greener and healthier. And yeah, that's what we've been doing.
What amazing journey, man! A lot of things, and I mean, you're still young, but I mean, what a quiet journey. Very interesting for sure. I mean, you already start talking about Deep Lawn. You already explained a little bit about the Deep Lawn, but can you give us more details of what exactly Deep Lawn does for a landscape company or lawn care company. It's a software. You talk about e-commerce, how that is connect or how it works.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a software that, any lawn care company can go on and they can sign up. They can set up their service pricing. They can set up where they service. They can set up geofences for where they want to offer their services. A big problem that we ran into back in the day was we would get people from Chicago reaching out to us, "Hey, can we sign up for services?" And, our office team would have to check, what's your address? You're outside of our service area. So we allow companies to set up those geofences. They can set up their branding. And then our software generates a little snippet of code that you can place on your website, a little widget. And that essentially allows any homeowner in your service area that's looking for lawn care, they can search on your website and sign up with the e-commerce experience. And then that data can get pushed into the CRM that you're using, whether that be Jobber or Service Autopilot or Gorilla Desk or Spray or Copilot CRM. Any of these CRMs, that data can get pushed in where then you can manage, route, bill, all of that. So we're a sales tool. We also have another side of the company, another side of the product that office staff or sales staff, when they receive a phone call or they get an inquiry for pricing, they can immediately pull up Deep Lawn, whether it be on a desktop or whether it be on their iPad or mobile, and it can generate the lawn measurement. They'll search the property, it'll automatically generate the lawn measurement, and they can give pricing over the phone, or they can send a customized quote directly to that homeowner. And while they're on the phone, rather than having to later compile, put together that quote and send it to them. They can do it in seconds, just a few clicks. So those are the two main sides of the business. The e-commerce, making it super easy for website visitors to sign up, but also anybody that calls in, really bringing down the time to seconds and minutes to get that pricing in their hands.
That sounds awesome, man. And so this software, it is incorporated into the company website and also can work along with like any softwares like Field Routes or Aspire. So all that is kind of connected to each other or it works independently.
So it works independently, but it also will pass that data into the CRM. So, Deep Lawn is not a CRM. It's not made to be like how you manage all your customers or route or reoccurring billing and invoicing. None of that. It's made for the selling process and the measurement process. But after that, we want that data to be, you can push it wherever you want. So yeah, Field Routes is one of our integration partners. Aspire, Service Autopilot, Spray, Copilot, Jobber, HubSpot. We have quite a few integration partners. So, and then we
That's
just recently released an integration to Zapier, which allows more integration with thousands of other products.
great. So this is a cool experience for outside clients that are looking for new services, also for internal people that estimation and be able to produce a quote pretty much right away, right? That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah. The quoting process has always had too much friction in it. So we really wanted to eliminate as much friction as possible. And, the fewer clicks that you need to click or tap on your screen, the better. So we've totally rethought how quoting and pricing is done. And, our customers have had a lot of success with it. They see close rates go up. They see total order value per customer go up. They see, less drop off, more customer, more sales. All the metrics really go up.
That's awesome, man. That's great. So, Joel, looking back a little bit on the timeline, what was the biggest challenge for you shifting from a service-based business to a tech-driving platform? Do you mind sharing some of those challenges for us?
Yeah. Yeah. I think, probably the biggest difficulty or the biggest challenge probably would be, with a service business, you're in person all the time. You and your team are always in person seeing each other. You're meeting at the office, at the shop every morning. The crews are sent out, you're there. You have in-person team meetings with this tech company, with Deep Lawn. We've always been we've allowed people to work from home. We've not had a physical office. And we've done that. We did that intentionally. That was at the beginning of COVID, and folks were a lot of folks had to be at home. And we also have some incredible team members all across the US. So, forcing only people in the city of Austin to work with us, it kind of limits our talent pool and the people that we can work with. So I've always been a big proponent of working remote. But with that, there are challenges. You don't get to see your team. There's not maybe the camaraderie, it being in person, that you would. Just communication styles, working with people all across the US, all across the world is definitely a difference. But, we've adapted rather to the challenge, and it's been good. I love it.
Great. Yeah, you just say it after COVID, pretty much everything changed, and people, us, companies, industries have to change and just be able to innovate, to be able to stay in business and keep rolling with the new, like staying home, work, and so many other things that COVID brought to us as a people in society. So, speaking about technology, Joel, I know you are a huge fan of technology and a lot of knowledge on that. How do you see AI reshaping the green industry, let's say in the next 5 years?
Wow. So I actually think that I think a lot of things are going to change. One thing, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day. I think all of the data within our CRM, within our tools, within our software products, within Java, within Service Autopilot, all of that, in the very near future, you're going to be able to easily, AI will be able to pull in that data and be able to put together unique reports for a business owner. So on the fly, typically in the past, you would have companies would build pre-built analytics. Here's your close rate. Here's your amount of leads. Here's your amount of sales. Well, AI will dramatically change that with what I'm seeing already in many softwares out there is you can go in and you can, using language, you can just ask, hey, can you please put together all of the reports on our top customers? Find out, and you can dig in and you can ask the large language model to really, really help you figure out your data. So I think better data transparency, better analytics. I think a lot of these platforms and softwares are going to have incredible analytics for business owners to make key business decisions. I think robotic mowers are going to continue to become more and more widespread. I think we're very early in the curve, but in the future, we're going to have more and more robots mowing our lawns, maybe someday treating, spraying fertilizer, weed control. We will see. We'll see what the future holds for that. I'm really excited.
You wanna talk a little bit about that, the long-term business AI incorporation, the spraying?
Yeah, well, you see it in fields for farmers. You see computer vision models, AI will detect weeds and spray only those weeds on a field. It helps with minimizing over pollution of pesticides and herbicides, and it can be quite effective at minimizing costs as well. So we could see, depending on regulation, we could see in the future robots that do that on a property. You pull up, you drop off a robot, it sprays everything, very precise, and then you pick it up and you go to the next property. That could very well happen. Robotic mowers are doing that now for mowing, and you don't see it as widespread at residential lawns, but in commercial, it's quite effective. And I think you should, if you haven't, you should talk to Joe Langton. You should maybe have him on the podcast and talk. He's really good with the robots, and his company has had a tremendous amount of success. They're the leader in the world on robotic mowing, robots on golf courses, robots that pick up golf balls, robots that actually clean the golf balls. So he's done a lot with that. It's really cool. You should definitely talk to him. But I do believe as these robots are getting cheaper, more cost effective, we're going to see many, many more doing that, especially with the labor crunch in the US. It's very hard for lawn care and lawn maintenance companies to find enough really good labor.
Yeah, true.
So I think that's going to be huge. Also, one of the companies I'm super excited about, Smart Spray Technologies. What they're doing, and I'm biased because my brother started this company, but Smart Spray Technologies, they have smart sensors that track what chemicals are sprayed where on a property. So these smart sensors can track what, where, when, how much. And that's very powerful because you can hold technicians accountable. You also have all of the data to report to the state. the legal reporting is required, and you know exactly how much you're spending per property. Instead of guesstimating or like assuming, you know the exact numbers, which is huge. And I think it's also good for the environment. You don't want there's a lot of runoff from over applying herbicides and pesticides and fertilizers to properties. So I think making sure you track it is super, super important. So yeah, that's a big company. I think with AR, VR, there's going to be a lot. Augmented reality. You can pull up glasses or your phone and it can tell you what weeds are what. It can identify them. It can locate them, tell you where to spray. Also, maybe generative landscaping. You could pull up and it'll automatically design a landscaping patio or a outdoor kitchen for you. I do think the future is as amazing as we want it to be.
It's promising, man. You just nailed it. I do believe that we are in the first steps of the AI incorporation into the lawn care businesses. That portion that you mentioned about your brother and this software, where you can track exactly what chemicals, where, when. I mean, yeah, that could be or is going to be a game changer from the industry for sure. It's a lot of ways, and it's going to help down the road to estimate better and just bottom line get better profit of the companies. But a reality also is that many people don't like change. They want to do things their own way. So, in your opinion, Joel, what are some misconceptions about AI driving the lawn care and how you been addressed them so far?
Yeah. So I think a lot of folks have the idea that AI is like Terminator in the Terminator movies. And I don't think you should look at it like that. I think it's AI is really, at the end of the day, it's statistical learning. It takes all this data and it makes assumptions on the data or it shows you a trend. And that's all these robots that are driving around. They've learned to stay within their course and only mow grass. So the way I look at it, even with our AI that generates lawn measurements, it's a tool in your toolbox. It's a way for you to become more efficient. It's a way for you and your company and your team to be able to spend more time having customer relationships, building up trust with your customers, focusing on your product. How does your company provide a superior product than everyone else? Because there are a lot of competitors. Every city in the US, I'm in Austin, Texas. There's probably 1,000 lawn care companies. How do you really stand out? And AI can be a great tool in your toolbox to stand out. It's not going to replace you. But it will make you more efficient. It will make it so that you can hire great people and those great people can be more effective with these tools. You can even pay them more because they can accomplish a lot more with these tools in their toolbox. So yeah, I think that's the way I look at it. And that's the way, I kind of frame it with folks when I talk to them.
I want to highlight a comment that you just made. You say is the AI make you more, it's going to make you better, going to help you to kind of stand out to another companies or people in the industry if you use it properly. And also, it's like you say, it's not going to replace humans.
Yeah.
It's just going to help us to be more efficient and be better. Bottom line. So, Joel, what was one of the piece of advice that you wish you had received when you started Deep Lawn?
When I started Deep Lawn,
Yeah, something that probably you say, I wish somebody should give me this advice and be able to kind of, probably change something and do better or do it in a different way.
I think probably one of the biggest is any business takes 3 to 5 years it takes 3 to 5 years to build a quality business. I think a lot of folks starting their lawn care company, starting a service business, starting a software business, they don't realize it's going to take, to build a really good business, it's going to take 3 to 5 years. It takes time. And, I'm a very impatient person. I always have been. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs are. They're impatient. Maybe they have a little ADD, constantly, looking at what's next. But it's good to be patient at the same time. It's good to have high expectations and really, really expect your business to succeed. I think having faith that you're going to succeed is very important. If you don't go into something thinking you're going to lose, otherwise you're probably going to lose. So having a good mindset. But I think patience is important, knowing that it does take any great business takes 3 to 5 years to build. To really get a product in order, to really build a culture, to build a team around you. So I would say, if I had advice or if I would have given myself advice, just be more patient and just keep doing what you're doing. And, don't despair if you're not there in 2 years. So, and I think it takes even longer to build a service business, but any business takes 3 to 5 years to build.
Yeah. It takes time and a lot of work.
A lot of time, a lot of work. You have to have a lot of pieces that work. You have to find the right people, which a lot of people were not very good at. I see it all the time. A lot of service businesses, they prioritize all these things, but they don't prioritize finding the right people for their company. And I think it ends up biting them in the back and affecting their business in a big way, especially your service business. But I think all businesses are personnel. It's all about who's on your team. They have to be patient with finding the right people too. A lot of people are impatient about that. They'll see 5 resumes and they'll hire the first person they interview or the second person. My experience is you have to go through hundreds or thousands of resumes, hundreds of job interviews before you find the right person.
True. Yeah. Having the right team is the key.
Yeah,
We can have AI, we can have many software, but without the right people, not much we can do about it.
exactly.
That's reality. Joel, how you see the future, man, of the green industry, technology, AI incorporation? What keep you excited about what's coming ahead for the industry?
Yeah, one of the things I'm super excited about, and I'm actually launching a business called Density Blaster to help solve this problem. So we're actually about to launch it. We already have quite a few companies utilizing it right now. But I think companies are going to start using data to be more efficient, to have better profits. And here's one of the big drivers of profit is route density. So route density, a lot of service companies overlook it. They will do a spray and pray approach to acquiring customers. I'm in Austin, Texas, and if I market to all of the homeowners for my say a lawn care business in Austin, Texas, I'm going to end up winning customers in South Austin, in West Austin, and Bee Cave, in Round Rock, North Austin. And unfortunately, I can win thousands of customers, but end up losing profit or breaking even on those customers because none of those routes are dense and there's not a density of customers in neighborhoods. What I would rather do, and what's more profitable, and your top line revenue will be less, but your profits will be considerably more, is if I just focus on maybe 5 to 6 neighborhoods in Austin and I really hyper target them. I figure out where my ideal clients are and I focus on winning clients only in those neighborhoods. So Density Blaster is a tool for these lawn care, pest control, actually any service business, for them to hyper target so they can see where their customers are. They can see where their routes are and they can see, okay, I really need to focus on these neighborhoods and I need to win for, every time my technician shows up to a property, we want them to stay in that neighborhood for 5 hours. Treating lawns or mowing properties, and your profits are going to be much better. Any time that your technicians are behind the windshield driving or making it to their next route, they're not bringing profit in for the business. So Density Blaster, I'm super excited about. You can hyper target. It's a tool to hyper personalize, hyper target homeowners in neighborhoods that you want to acquire new customers in. So I'm excited. We're about to launch it. We're going to be doing some press releases soon and some webinars. But I'm excited to roll it out and help companies really be smarter about where they acquire customers, who they acquire, and how they're growing in a smart way rather than an inefficient way.
Yeah, rather than be just widespread all over the place. And
Yeah.
I love that, man. Route density. That's a cool concept.
Yeah.
A cool way to see the reality, and I can wait to see that release and get more details about it. You have any timeline for that? When we should expect it?
Yeah, we're going to start having press releases next week, and we're going to do some webinars later this month. And we're rolling it out to all of our existing clients that are using Deep Lawn, and then we'll roll it out to everyone else, next week, the week after.
That's awesome. That's great. And Deep Lawn, and then this new service or this new software is only for residential properties, or also can be applied to commercial property, or not yet, not
Yeah.
there yet.
No, it can be applied to commercial. It's going to be more effective, I think, for residential companies. Gutter cleaning companies, lawn mowing, lawn care, pest control, even trash delivery, power washing companies. Anytime there's a need for route density. Now, with commercial, it can work, but a lot of times in commercial, the crews are going to be there for quite a few hours. With residential, they're coming either in and out, couple out, hour at most, usually typically, and then they're spending a lot more time driving. So we want to
Gotcha.
minimize that time driving every day.
Yeah, makes sense. No, totally. The more we can save on that time, the more profitable a company can be. And, bottom line, make more money. That's great. Joel, great conversation, man. You're doing great things. Can't wait for the things you about to keep doing in the future and the near future. Also, in this podcast, every time I spoke with someone, Joel, besides the everything the people are doing in the industry and the cool things, I like to talk about the person, a little bit about the person. You say you are in Austin, Texas, right?
I am, yes.
But you are originally coming from the Midwest. You're from the Midwest, or you live
Yeah.
there?
Yeah. I
That's where you
grew up.
started your landscape business, right?
Yeah. I grew up in the state of Iowa, in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. And that's where my lawn care business was. And then after college, I moved down to Austin, Texas. I'm, of course, most of my family is up in Iowa. So I'm up there, 6 times, 5 times a year visiting them. But
Cool. A lot of snow up there.
yeah, yeah. The winters are pretty crazy. I love snow during Christmas, but I prefer, and I love snow for skiing when I'm in the mountains. But besides that, I'm not a huge fan of snow. So,
Yeah. And why Texas? Why Austin, Texas? What take you there?
so I actually got, after I sold my lawn care business, I got a job kind of heading computer vision AI at Samsung Semiconductor here in Austin, helping them lead a team to bring AI into their manufacturing process of computer chips. So that's why I came down, and I love the weather. There's a lot to do in Austin. I've got a lot of friends, a good church. So I enjoy the city. I enjoy the city.
Awesome, awesome. Any hobbies for Joel? Football, any sport?
So I love reading, as you can see.
Yeah.
I'm an avid reader, and I love tennis. Tennis is a great sport that I've picked up over the last year or two, and so I play almost every day when I can. When the weather's good. And then I love traveling too. So, but probably more than anything, I love building businesses. That's why we started. We started Deep Lawn, but also I'm starting Density Blaster.
That's great, man. Joel, thank you so much for your time and sitting with us today to talk about your journey, your story, Deep Lawn, the new projects coming down for you and your team, the integration of AI and the green industry. I mean, it's promising. It's there. And I'm glad that people like you are taking the lead to incorporating all these new things into in the industry. And just can't wait, man, when everything hit and we just start changing the game here pretty soon. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Mizraim, I really appreciate you having me on. And yeah, there's a lot to look forward to with technology. I'm excited about it. It gives me energy waking up every morning, working on cool tools and also seeing what other people are working on. So yeah, thanks for this opportunity and appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in into the Green Talk podcast. Joel Northrup, COO of Deep Lawn, with us today. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you all.